Hey everyone, just a few quick things before we get started. Don't forget to sign the attendance sheet. It's just real simple. Just ask you 2 questions. Kind of looks like this. But that's pretty much it. Please enjoy. Hope you all learned something. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be going over worksheet 16 about files. If you have any questions about this video or any other videos, feel free to stop by my office hours. Alright, well, let's get started. So the first question I have for us today is fill in the blanks for the 3 file stream data types. And so this is what you use when you're trying to open, open or call a file. So first, there's going to be if stream. Second, there's going to be of stream. And third is going to be f stream. Okay, and so the next question I have is, what do each of these data types do? So if stream allows you to read a file, and so it can only be used for input, which is why it's called if stream, right? If I starts with input starts with I, and it's if stream in a sense. Okay, and so OF stream, let's probably say those like that, is going to be allows you to, so if stream's reading from a file, OF stream is going to be allow you to write to a file. And this one can only be used for output. So you can see output OF stream, input IF stream. Right? And then so the last one, if F is F stream. Right? And then so if IF stream is for input and OF stream is for output, what's F stream? So F stream allows you to read and write to a file. And this one can be used for input and output. So this can read a file and write to the file. Okay? And so just like strings, we need to add a header when we're using these, otherwise they will not work. And so this is going to be include F stream, right? Because you want to be able to both read and write. We'll have the possibility to both read and write. So it's just include F stream. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so how do you open and close a file? So this is real simple. So let's pretend that we're gonna do F stream. So F stream, and we want to call, let's say we want to call a file, right? And then now we want to open the file. So now we're going to do file.open, right? Open parentheses, open quotes, and then the file name is what you'd want to put in here. It's usually a .txt file. So you'd want to do file.open, open parentheses, and within those parentheses and within quotes, the file name. Alright? So how do we close a file? So it's going to be almost the same thing, file.close, except nothing goes in the parentheses this time. It's just file.close, because this is essentially a variable type, a variable name, right? And so this is assigning this file to this variable of the file variable, and so this is just automatically going to close that file. Okay, so the next question I have is, what is an access flag? So an access flag is a way to specify what you will be doing to the file. And so my next question is actually, what do these access flags do? So you can see that this is an example of what some access flags look like. And then so you're able to put these in when you're opening a file. Like, let's pretend like we're opening file again. File.open. And so you can also do comma and then iOS dot whatever you want. And then so it's just going to specify what you're doing with that file. This is really helpful if you're using like Fstream or something. Okay. So what do these different flags do? So iOS app is going to it's like an append mode. So what this means is that if the file already exists, it will keep the content and just add on to the content of the already existing file, right? Like you're appending something. Or append the new well, whatever you choose to write to it. So the new data, I guess. Okay. Let's see. So iOS in. This one's gonna be input mode. So allows things to be read from the file. And so if the file doesn't exist, it fails. Also, if the file in append doesn't exist, it will create a new file. So it won't fail, it'll just create a new one. Alright, iOS out. This is gonna be just like in output mode. Okay, and you can guess it, it's gonna say that data will be written to the file. But unlike the append, it's going to erase any previous data. So that's like a difference between append and out. Okay. So this question is, how can we check for a file's existence before opening it? So one way to check for a file's existence before opening it is with like an if statement, right? So if, let's pretend like we're using this like file. Okay, so if file.fail, so also pretty simple to remember, open parentheses and close parentheses. And then so that's checking to see how it exists. And so if it fails, you can like see out something saying like, oh, opening the file failed, make sure you have the file, or something like this. Something like that. I'm gonna put spaces between these so you can kind of see it better though. So it's like that. And we'll just ignore. Okay, there you go. So how can you check to see if there was an error opening the file? So like, let's say so this is just checking for file existence, but maybe there was an error in opening the file itself. Okay, so to test to see if there's an error in opening the file, versus not having a file, it's going to be like another if statement, right? Because we're checking something. Oops. Okay, so if, and then you can just do the not, right? Not file. And then this will check to see if there was an error opening the file. So like you use this if you like didn't, if you wanted to see if there's a file already existing, but you use the error check and opening if you're trying to, if you don't matter, I guess, if it existed or not. Okay, now true or false. Output formatting with IOMINUT can be used with files. So this is going to be true, which means that you can use set precision, fixed, set width, all when you're outputting to a file. Okay? But something that you don't usually do is how would you format your file into columns? So to format your file into columns, you actually can use a 2D array. And a nested for loop with like set width or something. So like, and 2D arrays are going to be in the next video. So to kind of continue that, I'm gonna kind of type it out here, but to go in depth about it, watch the next video. So like, let's say we had this 2D array, and that's anything not that you don't see defined on here. We're just gonna assume it's already defined, like that and you know, like the file stream, the headers and everything. So you could have like some random numbers in here. And then let's just pretend it's like a 3x3. Okay. So that's our little 2D array. And so for more info on that, just watch the next video, and if it hasn't come out yet, it should be out shortly. Okay, and then so like, let's say we wanted to output to the file. We could do something like start off with one for loop for row is equal to 0, while row is less than rows, row plus plus, and then bring in the second for loop. Is equal to 0, while that one's less than the max. Increase. Oops. Okay. And then you can just do file, and then it's just like you're using the cout statement. In terms of these, you always want to do the less than signs. So, and then you can like say you want to set the width of it, and then the array, and then the indexes. Oh, this is gonna jump over. Okay, and then you can just do inlined over here, and that way it returns after every row. And then, okay, so I'm just gonna put this on new. see if I can't make it all fit on this one page. Yeah, okay. And then you can close your file. And that's it. I mean, you need like the rest of your code, the rest of your main, but to output it, you would just use this format and just think about how you output. But you can still use the set with, and outputting to a file is as simple as the less than signs. And then also, like that's with cout. With cin, if this is to output to a file, to input to a file, it's the ones used for cin, so 2 greater than signs. But we'll go over this in the code. So I would recommend trying this before you see me do it. But let's get started. Okay, so this one says to create a file called students and write to a list of names of the file. So we'll start with that, and I'm gonna open online GDB. Okay, so we have to create a file called students and write a list of names of the file. So we're gonna need to put in our header, right? So include fstream. Okay, and so we want to create a file called students. So to create a file called students, we're gonna want to be both reading and writing over here. So what we can do is we'll just use fstream, and we'll call it so for the variable name, it's gonna be file, but then we'll have like file.open, and then we'll have students.txt, and so that can be our students. And so now we need to write a list of names to the file. So like to output, right, we do the file, like we're doing cout, and now we can write a list of names. So we can do like Larry Smith, then we can do Isabel Holt. Excuse me, I'm really terrible with names. I don't know. I can't spell either, so this is hard. Mike Johnson. Oops. And let's do one more. Taylor Stelly. Okay. So let's go see what the next part of it was. So let's just kind of check to see that this works. So let's close our file. And let's see if it runs. Well, let's try switching it to OFstream and seeing if that helps, since we're just outputting right now. Okay, here we go. That worked. So we got our students. Okay. And so we'll just stick with OFstream, and we'll just take this code and piece by piece. Okay, so that created a file for us, so that's good. Okay, now the second part of the code is to append another student onto the file after you close it. Then read the full list of students and close the file once again. So I think it was just saying like do that in addition. So now we have a file. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna delete that. And so now we want to append something. So if we come here, we can use the flag for append. Okay, and so now we need to append another student. So we can call this one Matthew Davis. Alright, and let's see if that works. So let's run. Oh, let's not leave the slide. Alright, so let's run this. Okay, and let's go check our file. And look, it just appended it onto the end without overwriting it. So that's great. Okay, and so the second part was to read the full list of students and close the file once again. So now we're just going to be reading, so we can change it to ifstream or ifstream, and we can delete that. And we can still have a file open, file close. And so like, let's say we wanted to put like the students into an array. So we can do include string. And so let's create an array. I believe there were 5 students, so 5. And then we can do for int I is equal to 0. And is less than 5, I plus plus. Okay. And so now we can just do oops. So what I did here was I had just had them insert the thing from the file into the array. But the issue is when you're just taking from the file like this, it only takes it one word at a time. So we only see like Larry Smith, Isabel Hart, Mike. So it's like they're all separate people. And then I had C-outed the array as we were going, so we didn't have to write a second for loop. Okay, so that's just something you need to be wary about. So this like file operator like that only takes in word by, only takes in, it only goes word by word. If you want to get the whole line, there's a function called getLine, and then you have to type the file variable name, and then where you want to put it. So this should fix our issue for us. Yeah, so Larry Smith, Isabel Hart, Mike Johnson, Taylor Stelly, Matthew Davis. So this fixed our issue for us. I don't think y'all really are gonna need this, but if you'll have to deal with getting lines of a file versus getting singular words, this is how you would do that. Okay, well that's about it. Thank you all for watching this video. Thank you all for making it all the way through this video. Here's a little way of saying thank you.